Oh my goodness, welcome back to the Ben Mulroney Show. All right, the date is important today. We are Friday, July 11th, which means Superman, James Gunn's Superman, hits the theaters. By all accounts, it is going to make a ton of money at the box office. It has a massive positive review rating on Rotten Tomatoes. I've now seen it not once, but twice. I've got a lot to say, but listen, fresh off of my victory on is this BS or is this real, why not take another stab at a debate about Superman, who the best actor was, who the best Superman has been in popular culture. And I can't debate myself, so we brought on the co-host of True North Nerds, Brent Chittenden. Brent, welcome to the show. Happy Superman Day.
Thank you for having me. Happy Superman Day to you as well.
Well, I got to ask you, have you seen this new incarnation yet?
No, I'm going to be going on Sunday night. Just a family thing that I had scheduled months ago came up, and my co-hosts and I like to go together. That way we're not spoiling it for each other, so we all go at the same time. So I'm looking forward to seeing it, though. Everything I've seen about it is promising.
Yes, I've given a sort of a cursory review on the show, which is that the first 10 or 15 minutes are clunky to the point of raising some alarms in me. I was a little worried. I said, if this is what the rest of the movie's like, I'm not on board. And almost immediately something happens and you are just, everything works. And one of the reasons I think is that James Gunn wasn't worried about how he didn't want to bring us along on the world building that he needed to do. So he just dropped us into the deep end, and that required a little bit of discomfort off the top to level set. So that's where we stand there. But so the question is, we've had so many different interpretations for so many different reasons on so many different platforms by so many different actors. The goals every time were different. And these superheroes, in a lot of ways, are a reflection back of the society that we're in at the time. And so sometimes he's darker, sometimes he's jokier. But that won't stop us right here on the show from debating who is the Superman of all Supermen and which actor is worthy of being at the top of that pantheon as well. So I'm going to throw it over to you. And why don't you give me sort of your top level assessment? We've got a number of actors: Christopher Reeve, Henry Cavill, Tyler Hoechlin, Brandon Routh, George Reeves, Dean Cain, Tom Welling, and of course now David Cornsweet.
For me, there's no debate. It's Christopher Reeve is the Superman.
Yeah,
he is the standard bearer. He is the bar. It's gotten to the point where every actor who plays Superman has to judge what he's doing against what Christopher Reeve did. Yeah. Whether it's trying to emulate what he did or going away from what he did. He is the bar, to the point where a lot of comic book writers, that's what they go to for when they're getting inspiration for how they're going to write the character, is his mannerisms and stuff like that. A lot of artists use his portrayal as like their standard as well.
I completely agree. In a lot of ways, Christopher Reeve's performance and portrayal was was Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man before Robert Downey Jr. did what he did. In other words, this performance was so iconic and so successful that it quite literally opened the door to the film industry seeing there was a place in film for superheroes. And so he did that. Robert Downey Jr. did that for the feasibility of the MCU moving forward. So without him, you don't have the rest of it, which is why I think he's the most important actor, and that's the most important character in the MCU. But writ large superhero movies, you do not have a conversation about making a movie like Iron Man or building out a universe if he is not as successful and iconic as he is in that character. And not for nothing, Brent, I'd love your take on this. I mean, it's something that's been said many times before, but some of our viewers and listeners may not know this. What makes Superman different is Superman is the person. Clark Kent is his secret identity versus the person being Bruce Wayne, and the character that he plays is Batman.
It's interesting because those two characters are created basically like a year and something apart from one another and become publicated. And the idea is Superman came from afar and loves where he has come from, where he is raised, and is trying to encapsulate that as like a human. He is not quite a human being, and he knows that, but he loves like his parents and he loves where he's from, and encapsulates that all into like the guy that you know next door,
Yeah.
except he can lift buildings and throw things into outer space.
Yeah.
Whereas Batman is Batman. He like the minute, you can argue the minute his parents die is when Bruce Wayne dies.
But yeah,
That's when he becomes Batman.
And Brent, I love what you just said about the identity of Superman / Clark Kent, because if that's what resonates with you, then this new movie will resonate with you. I'm not going to give you any more than that. And I'll say one other thing. There are certain people out there who are trying to imprint today's politics on that movie. I sat there during the second showing that I watched, trying to see that side of the argument. I didn't see it. I did not see a political statement being made in this movie. I'm sure you could see it if you want to see it. I did not see it. I didn't have to work hard to not see it. But Christopher Reeve was so good because with his physicality, and I think it's a testament to the film itself, they allowed both sides of Superman and Clark Kent, the sort of the goofy Clark Kent, to be played almost on an equal footing. And you could see the duality that this one man had to hold and had to be able to play. Other guys don't really get that. For some reason, when you look at Henry Cavill in Man of Steel, when you look at Brandon Routh in Superman Returns, they weren't able to play both sides as balanced as we saw with Christopher Reeve. Henry Cavill, he's such a big, giant guy. And when he wore a flannel shirt, still big, giant guy. And didn't play goofy at all. And while Brandon Routh, I thought probably had the chops to do it, the filmmaker did not give him the room to do it.
Now that's always been my argument. I have thought Brandon Routh is the Superman who didn't get his due.
I agree.
In a lot of ways.
I agree.
He was in a movie that Kevin Smith famously said something along the lines of, he's in a Superman movie where Superman's biggest foe is an island, and the island nearly wins.
Yeah.
So,
it was a terrible movie. It was a terrible movie, and he was the only person who was properly cast in it. Everything about it was bad. And one of the things I didn't know about it was, as a way to recoup their money on all of these failed starts on other Superman movies, they took all of that pre-production cost and threw it onto the budget of this movie, which meant this movie had to make even more money on the back end. And so it was destined to fail, and I was so very disappointed. Now, I very much loved Man of Steel as a film. I get that it wasn't a pure Superman movie, but I loved everything about the movie. I liked that they tried something different.
Man of Steel is one of those movies that I liked initially when it came out, but to Henry Cavill's credit, again, I think it's a case of the material not supporting the actor enough. Superman versus Batman is where he loses.
That, yeah, I was surprised. That was the movie I was waiting for my whole life, and it disappointed.
They bring out Doomsday and kill him off in the second movie.
Yep.
They introduce him in the first one. We don't have enough time to care about him, and then they murder him outright.
Yeah.
Like a bad CGI from Lord of the Rings reject.
Yeah, I agree. Well, listen, we don't have a lot of time left, but I do want to say, I want to spend just a minute on this movie that's out in theaters now. If you liked the optimism, if you liked the bright color, if you liked the comic book feel and this sense of wonderment that came from the first movie. Don't forget, in the first movie, the tagline was, "This summer, you'll believe a man can fly." And this one, the tagline is, "Look up." Both of them hearken to the same feeling of that childlike wonder, and they both, in my opinion, capture it. And Brent, I would be very curious, and I hope you'll let me know what you think of this movie, because I suspect in this short conversation that you and I are of the same mind. I think you're going to like it a lot.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it, because that's what Superman should be, is colorful, hopeful. I've heard little tidbits of like some of the Silver Age stuff that they're bringing into it, which is definitely an interesting choice, but one that I love a lot.
Brent Chittenden, from co-host of True North Nerds. Please come back and nerd out with me another time. Maybe we do it for Fantastic Four. All the best, sir. Thanks so much for watching the show. Now, if you enjoyed what you saw, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another episode of The Ben Mulroney Show.